married with teenage children. Kristen Cabot has been divorced for 3 years. She was hired just 8 months ago. And now that 15 seconds of
Learned that the technology company Astronomer has announced that its CEO, Andy Byron, seen here, as you saw, embracing a woman who is not his wife, has
learned that the technology company Astronomer has announced that its CEO, Andy Byron, seen here, as you saw, embracing a woman who is not his wife, has resigned from the company. It didn't kick off with some magical kiss. Nah, it lit up with one tiny twitch. A stiff little flinch, a too tight hug, and one Coldplay concert that ended up blowing a billion-dollar empire to pieces. In just days, we saw a CEO walk away from his throne, an HR chief vanish from LinkedIn like she never existed, and a wife drop her husband's last name with such cold-blooded elegance that the internet crowned her a legend. But here's where it gets juicy. Insiders swear the mess didn't truly start when the kiss cam zoomed in. Nope. The real dirt was brewing months earlier, hidden in boardroom whispers and encrypted Slack chats nobody was supposed to see. That viral clip, just the smoke, the actual fire still smoldering. And sources say the leaks are only just warming up. So, let's roll it back to that infamous night. A sold-out stadium, Coldplay tearing up the stage, the kiss cam roaming the crowd, fishing for grins and sweet PDA until it landed on two high-powered execs, Andy Byron, CEO of a fast-rising AI giant called Astronomer, and Kristen Kitt, the company's chief people officer. The vibe shifted instantly. She leaned in, he pulled back, and for a whole 15 seconds, the Jumbotron didn't just hint at an office fling. It set off a full-blown corporate explosion. Eyewitness Grace Springer, the one who dropped the original TikTok, said the air was weird even before the internet went wild. It was Andy's reaction that sealed it, she told interviewers. Whoever wrote the post was believed to have also attended the concert in Boston. And it sure seems that he or she works at the company. They knew Kristen Kitt's precise title in HR, and they also knew that both executives are married. The clip blew past 53 million views, and just days later, Andy was gone. Kristen's LinkedIn wiped clean and Astronomer's board scrambling to patch the bleeding. According to the viral TikToks and the wildfire reposts burning up Reddit and X, the very first person to blast this duo's names out into the open was allegedly an insider from the company itself. This wasn't just a casual gossip post. They dropped Kristen's full title, confirmed both execs were married, and slid in a cryptic hint that something way messier was brewing behind the boardroom doors. That's going to be one awkward board meeting, the caption teased. But behind the laugh was a bombshell only someone on the inside could have planted. That's when the dam cracked. Suddenly, reports flooded in claiming Byron and Kitt's so-called connection had been an open secret at Astronomer for months. One ex-employee now going viral under a fake name swears they were booted because they knew too much. And now they are allegedly spilling everything. Claims of blatant favoritism, whispers of private emails, and rumors about internal drama that still hasn't seen the light of day. Here's the twist. Not a single screenshot, not one smoking gun has actually been posted yet. Still, Astronomer's leadership moved at lightning speed. A sharp LinkedIn statement declared, "Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability." Recently, that standard was not met. But insiders swear this wasn't about morals. It was pure panic mode. And according to one post making the rounds, Bringer first posted the video being seen around the world. And it was the reaction from Andy that kind of sealed the deal. He looked pretty guilty. The board saw this train wreck coming long before Coldplay even played their first note. That kiss cam, it didn't expose a surprise. It just confirmed what Astronomer employees had been whispering for months. According to a former staffer spilling tea under anonymity on X, Byron and Kitt were crossing professional lines long before that Coldplay concert ever hit the headlines. They claimed Kristen Kitt's hiring barely 8 months ago was pushed through with suspicious urgency, skipping the usual corporate hoops. And it didn't stop there. Multiple exec meetings allegedly took odd turns with more than a few side eyes over how often the CEO leaned on his HR chief for decisions that had nothing to do with HR at all. The ex-employee even dropped the mic with this, "It felt like the company was being run by two people in their own bubble and everyone else was just along for the ride." That quote's been reposted over 10,000 times and counting. Sources close to the mess say it wasn't just their constant presence together at meetings that had folks talking behind closed doors. Whispers spread about Slack message chains with way too much frequency and an oddly personal tone. Rumor has it some of those threads still sit on company servers. And depending on where this train wreck goes next, they could be subpoenaed. No screenshots have surfaced yet, but that hasn't stopped the internet's self-appointed detectives from digging into everything: old org charts, time-stamped press photos, even grainy event pics with the two side by side. Sure, some skeptics call it nothing but office gossip on steroids, but others say the details are way too specific to ignore. Chief Executive Andy Byron has tendered his resignation to the board of directors and they have accepted. The board will begin a search for our next chief executive as co-founder and chief product officer Pete Joy continues to serve as interim CEO, especially after both Byron and Kit scrubbed their LinkedIns clean and went ghost within hours of that Kisscam clip blowing up. Meanwhile, somewhere much closer to the fire, Byron's wife, Megan Carrion, was starting to boil over in silence. Sources say Megan found out just like the rest of the world, scrolling TikTok, no warning, no heads up, no private confession from her husband. And yet, she didn't rage online, didn't throw shade in interviews, didn't even post a cryptic quote. Instead, she pulled one single razor-sharp move that spoke louder than any rant ever could. She stripped Byron from her last name across all her socials within 24 hours. No statement, no explanation, just a silent rebrand so cold the internet crowned it the most savage divorce soft launch ever. Some fans swear her lawyer's already in play, pointing to how fast the name change happened and the sudden lockdown of her LinkedIn. True or not, insiders say Andy hasn't stepped foot back home since the incident. He's allegedly holed up out of state while astronomers' board scrambles to sweep up the mess. But beyond the internet drama, the ugliest questions point straight at the workplace. How could this alleged relationship fly under the radar for so long? Why did employees feel silenced? The company's board of directors accepted that resignation today, saying that it will begin the search for a replacement. In a statement released on the company's LinkedIn page, it says that Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability. And recently that standard was. And what happens when the very head of HR is part of the alleged problem? Industry pros say this fiasco is shaping up to be a textbook case study in exactly what not to do. A former Astronomer employee now hiding behind the handle at Exoplanetras claims that Coldplay night wasn't the first time eyebrows were raised. They allege concerns about favoritism were flagged to a mid-level manager months back, especially over Kit's lightning-fast climate influence. She was suddenly showing up in product roadmap meetings, strategy calls, and even board prep sessions. Spots that had nothing to do with HR. Sure, startups sometimes cross departments, but insiders say this didn't look like collaboration. It looked like executive protection. Humiliated, embarrassed, one ex-senior allegedly put it. No one wanted to say the wrong thing around Kristen. Not because she was head of HR, but because she was with Andy. According to posts blowing up on Reddit and TikTok, at least 2 former Astronomer employees are now claiming they walked or were pushed out because of what they're calling a toxic inner circle. One says they got the boot after raising red flags about leadership dynamics in a private Slack channel. Another says their role mysteriously vanished right after being bumped off a project that Kit herself had allegedly demanded to run. These claims haven't been verified yet but they're catching serious traction thanks to how fast Astronomer leadership slammed the digital shutters. The leadership page gone. Byron and Kit's LinkedIn profiles wiped. Public statements 0. The 2 executives caught on that now infamous Coldplay kiss his cam were first identified on a TikTok account of someone who apparently works at the company. Oh my god, that looks like Astronomer CEO Andy Byron and Astronomer Chief People Officer Kristen Kitt. That's going to be one awkward board meeting if not a couple to work. Insiders say the company's gone into full lockdown mode. One anonymous staffer still working there claims all hands meetings were cancelled immediately after the Coldplay blow-up and an alleged gag order went out via email instructing employees to send all press questions straight to legal and keep quiet in internal chats. Still behind the scenes, whispers about possible receipts won't die. Rumor is before the system purge, several emails and Slack threads were screenshot. Messages that allegedly show Kit had access to performance reviews, salary info, and even veto power over hires, perks way outside her HR lane. No hard evidence has leaked yet, but the threat's hanging in the air. And just when things seemed messy enough, the narrative flipped again because now reports suggest Byron and Kit weren't just colleagues with chemistry. They were allegedly spotted together at multiple public events in the weeks before the concert. One viral post claims they were seen leaving a tech leadership summit in San Francisco together in late May, and that's when people started connecting the dots in a whole new way. Another witness now claims they spotted Byron and Kit sitting side by side at a high-profile charity gala just weeks before the Coldplay chaos. Back then, nobody thought twice, but now those casual sightings are being recast as early evidence in a corporate soap opera playing out in real time. And the deeper people dig, the clearer it's looking that this was never about one awkward camera angle. That now infamous footage has passed 53 million views. But most casual viewers miss the detail insiders can't stop obsessing over: the third person in the shot. Reports suggest the woman seated next to Kristen Kit that night may have been her assistant, allegedly brought along as a human shield. A supposed HR insider claims this wasn't some random group hangout. It was calculated. Word is that third wheel was there to serve as a chaperone in case anyone recognized the two execs. The implication: Byron and Kit weren't just unlucky. They were allegedly trying to hide in plain sight. But when the kiss cam zeroed in, Byron froze, and that single flinch turned a cover-up into a catastrophe. If he hadn't recoiled, no one would have cared, one Redditor posted. But that reaction told the whole story, and the internet ran with it. TikTok stitches, corporate meme pages, it blew up overnight. What started as a viral joke quickly morphed into something far more serious. A major tech news outlet is reportedly digging into Astronomer's internal culture, and leaked emails hint that lawyers are now circling. No official lawsuit yet, but industry whispers say both Byron and Kit could face serious scrutiny if it's proven that their personal relationship influenced company decisions. Some insiders even allege Kit had veto power over internal complaints and that she personally handled a whistleblower report last quarter. Still no hard proof, but multiple ex-employees have hinted at NDAs, quiet buyouts, and what they call silent exits over the past 6 months. Meanwhile, interim CEO Pete Dejo has been running non-stop in damage control mode. Insiders say he's been locking himself in closed-door meetings with investors desperate to convince them Astronomer's core product is still solid. But the PR wildfire isn't dying down, and now major clients are citing the company's stability. At least one big account is rumored to be rethinking their renewal altogether, meaning the fallout isn't just shredding reputations. It's threatening revenue. A marketing insider claims brand partnerships are already hitting the brakes. No one wants their logo parked next to a cheating scandal, they said flatly. And in the middle of all this is Meghan Carrion, Andy Byron's wife, or ex-wife, depending on which outlet you read. She's kept her mouth shut, but her actions loud as a siren. First, she stripped Byron from her name. Then she unfollowed every single company exec on Instagram and wiped her grid clean of Andy's face. Sources say she's been meeting with lawyers, though no official filings have hit yet. Still, the internet's already crowned her a queen. Go Meghan is trending like wildfire, with fans begging her to drop a tell-all memoir. But this mess isn't just about one busted kiss cam. It's pulling back the curtain on the entire tech industry's dirty little truth. What happens when power, secrecy, and ego play out in full view? Multiple reports confirm Astronomer's internal audit has exploded in scope. Now digging not just into Byron and Kit's track record, but into the entire HR infrastructure. External consultants have allegedly been called in to figure out if past employee exits were clean or if they were part of a bigger culture of silencing and suppression. And this is no longer just a PR embarrassment. One board source is calling it a full-blown governance crisis for a once multi-billion-dollar company. That kind of talk sends shivers through investors, especially those banking on an IPO. The public fallout's been swift. Byron's out, Kit's reportedly gone, LinkedIn's erased, and company emails nuked within 48 hours of the Coldplay night. But the real eyebrow raiser, neither has said a single word. No denial, no apology, nothing. Insiders claim this silence could be legal. Maybe they are under NDAs. Maybe they are bracing for shareholder lawsuits. And the forensics team, word is they're tearing through every corner of the company's digital history, hunting for alleged Slack threads and favoritism receipts. Whether they find anything or it leaks is anyone's guess. But the longer this blackout drags on, the more people believe there's something worth hiding. Culturally, the scandal's gone nuclear. TikTok users are reenacting the kiss cam moment with savage precision. Reddit's tracking every sighting and every digital cleanup. And over on X, the narrative's shifted. People aren't calling it just an affair anymore. They're calling it abuse of power wrapped in HR policy. Some are even half-jokingly demanding Chris Martin comment, blaming him for setting off a corporate extinction-level event with One Love song. But under the memes, there's a sharper conversation happening about accountability. Because when the people tasked with enforcing the rules become the ones breaking them, the damage cuts to the bone. Pete DeJoy insists astronomers getting back to business as usual, but the internet's not buying it. From here on out, every investor call, every employee post, every press release will be haunted by one image. A stadium camera, a flinch, and a scandal that unfolded live on the world's biggest screen. That's the real tea on the Coldplay kiss cam scandal. What's your take? Drop it in the comments. Smash that like button. Subscribe for more breaking celebrity drama. Share this with your friends. And I'll see you on the next.